Hello, my dear friends. Welcome back to Annie Voice. Nisha had stepped into the West Mansion as a bride, carrying grace, strength, and the hopes of a peaceful life. But with her husband Amit often away on business, the long corridors of the house echoed only with her loneliness. In that silence, another presence began to grow stronger, Rohan, her Devar. Younger, reckless, and bound by no sense of responsibility, he slowly let his admiration for Nisha slip into something dangerous. What began as casual glances and careless words soon turned into a forbidden tension, threatening to shatter the dignity of their family and the peace of Nisha's heart. So sit back, take a deep breath, and let me take you into this journey. The West family mansion stood tall in the old neighborhood of Lucknow. It was a house of traditions, respect, and whispers of both joy and sorrow. Nisha had entered this house 3 years ago as the bride of Amit West. She was known in the community as a woman of grace and dignity, someone who carried herself with quiet strength. But the walls of the mansion had started feeling like a prison. Amit, a businessman, traveled constantly for work. Sometimes weeks would pass before he returned. Nisha spent her days managing household chores, reading, and caring for her in-laws. Yet, the loneliness often gnawed at her heart. There was another resident of the mansion, Rohan, Amit's younger brother. He was 25, impulsive, and often irresponsible. He had failed in multiple business ventures, relying heavily on Amit's financial support. Where Amit was disciplined and mature, Rohan was restless and careless. At first, Rohan had shown Nisha the respect any younger brother-in-law should, but slowly, Nisha began to notice a change. His gaze that lingered, compliments that felt too personal, and his growing attempts to seek her attention. One morning, while she poured tea for the family, Rohan leaned forward and said, "Bobby, I don't know how Amit leaves you alone so much. If I were in his place, I would never stay away from such a beautiful wife." The words made Nisha freeze. She forced a smile to keep the atmosphere light, but deep inside she felt a chill. Something had shifted. Part 2. The Shadows of Doubt. The days that followed only worsened her unease. Rohan would find excuses to be near her. In the garden, he would offer to help water the plants, only to stand uncomfortably close. In the kitchen, he would arrive suddenly, his eyes following her every move. "Bobby," he said once, while she arranged books in the study, "you must feel lonely. Amit hardly has time for you. Sometimes I wonder if he deserves you." Nisha turned sharply, her voice firm. "Rohan, never speak like this again. Amit is my husband, and I am happy with him." Rohan raised his hands in mock surrender, but his smirk told her he wasn't listening. That night, Nisha locked her bedroom door. For the first time since her marriage, she felt unsafe in her own home. Part 3. The storm approaches. It happened on a weekend. The elders of the family went to a cousin's wedding out of town. Nisha excused herself, pretending she had a headache. Amit was away in Delhi for business. For the first time, the house was nearly empty. Only she and Rohan remained. That evening, the sky turned dark. A heavy storm rolled in. The power went out, and the mansion stood shrouded in shadows. The howling wind and flickers of candlelight made the air thick with unease. In the kitchen, Nisha warmed some food by the light of an oil lamp. She felt a presence behind her. Turning, she saw Rohan standing there, leaning casually against the doorframe, his eyes glittering in the dim light. "Bobby," he said softly, "a night like this, it must feel very lonely. Amit is always away. Don't you ever wish for someone to keep you company?" Nisha's heart pounded. She placed the lamp on the counter and straightened her back. "Enough, Rohan." Whatever you're thinking, stop it right now. I am your brother's wife. Don't forget your boundaries." But instead of shame, a slow smile spread across his face. "You can deny it, Bobby, but I see the truth." "You deserve more than loneliness." Nisha pushed past him, refusing to answer, and locked herself in her room. But sleep refused to come. The storm outside seemed to echo the storm inside her chest. Part 4. Midnight. Knock around. Midnight. As thunder rumbled in the distance, she heard a knock on her door. "Bobby." Rohan's voice was soft, almost pleading. "Please, just open the door. I only want to talk." Nisha pressed her back against the door, her breathing shallow. She stayed silent. The knock came again, louder. "Bobby." "Amit doesn't love you like I do. He leaves you alone, but I'm here. I can give you what he never can. Just give me one chance." Tears burned Nisha's eyes, but anger surged stronger. She shouted, "Rohan! If you don't leave this instant, I'll scream so loud the neighbors will come running. I'll tell the whole family what kind of man you are. Your respect will be finished forever." The silence that followed was heavy. Finally, she heard his footsteps retreating down the corridor. Nisha slid to the floor, trembling. Her body shook with fear, but inside a new determination took root. This ends now. Part 5. The Confession. 2 days later, Amit returned from Delhi. Nisha spent the whole day debating. Should she tell him? What if he didn't believe her? What if the family blamed her instead of Rohan? But that night, as they sat together in the bedroom, she gathered her courage. "Amit," she began, her voice trembling, "I need to tell you something about Rohan." Amit looked up, concerned. "What is it?" And then it all poured out. The stairs, the words, the stormy night, the midnight knock. Every detail. For a long moment, Amit said nothing. His jaw tightened, his fists clenched. Finally, his voice thundered, "He dared this? In my house? With my wife?" Nisha's eyes filled with tears. "I was afraid to tell you, but I couldn't stay silent anymore." Part 6. The Confrontation. That night, Amit called Rohan into the living room. The elders had returned from the wedding and sat watching, the atmosphere thick with tension. "Rohan," Amit said, his voice icy, "tell me, what have you been doing behind my back?" Rohan's eyes flickered nervously. "Nothing, Bhaiya. Bobby must be misunderstanding. I would never—" "Enough!" Nisha's voice cut through the air. She stood tall, her face pale but resolute. "Don't you dare call me a liar, Rohan. You came to my door at midnight. You tried to break the dignity of this house. Will you deny that too?" Gasps spread across the room. The elders exchanged horrified looks. Rohan stammered, "Bobby, please." But Amit was already on his feet. He grabbed Rohan by the collar, his voice roaring with fury. "You betrayed my trust! You tried to disgrace my wife. From this day, you are no brother of mine. Get out of this house!" Rohan struggled, tears streaming down his face. He begged for forgiveness, but no one spoke for him. His secret was out, his respect shattered. That very night, in the pouring rain, he was thrown out of the mansion with nothing but his shame. Epilogue. A new dawn. Silence settled over the house. Amit turned to Nisha, his eyes heavy with guilt and love. "You should have told me sooner," he said softly. "I was afraid," Nisha admitted, "but I realized silence only makes evil stronger." Speaking out was the only way. Amit held her hand firmly. "From now on, you'll never face anything alone. I promise." The storm outside had passed. The first rays of dawn touched the wet earth. Nisha looked out the window, her heart lighter. She had faced her darkest fear and protected not just her dignity, but the honor of her entire family. And she had proven one eternal truth: evil grows in silence, but truth destroys it.